God bless everybody this wonderful Thursday morning. Welcome to Inspiration with ELS. Um, thank God that I'm able to come to you on a regular basis with inspiration and encouragement, and I'm very grateful. Whether it's social media, Facebook or YouTube, or live um, recordings. I am so grateful for the opportunity that you guys give me to bring my gift from God to you. So greetings to God's people today. I want to first of all give my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ a shout out, the Lord of my life, to my wife and my family, to all my friends and colleagues, to my spiritual father and family, Bishop Curtis Jackson and Better Covenant Evangelistic Ministries up in Richmond. So greetings to everybody today. I want to talk on an inspiration today. I want to talk about differences. I'm going to read a couple of scriptures that I use as a reference to the subject that I'm going to bring to you, talking about differences and how we don't need to let differences divide. So let's go over here. If you got your Bibles in front of you this morning, or on your phones or whatever you use to read the Word of God, let's go to Romans chapter. No, I'm gonna start in Matthew. Let's go to Matthew chapter 22 first, and I'm gonna read verses 37 through 39. And it reads in Matthew 22 and 37. And Jesus said to them, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. I want to read verse 39 again. And the second is like it. That's what Jesus said. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Let's turn over here to Romans chapter 14 for our second reference scripture. 14, and I'm going to read verses 12 through 16. And it reads, so then each of us, this is the Apostle Paul talking, so then each of us shall give account of himself to God. Therefore, let us not judge one another anymore, but rather resolve this, not to put a stumbling block or a cause to fall in a brother's way. I know I am convinced by the Lord Jesus that there's nothing unclean of itself, but to him who considers anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean. Verse 15 says, yet if your brother is grieved because of your food, you are no longer walking in love. Do not destroy your food. Do not destroy with your food the one whom Christ died. Therefore, do not let your good be evil spoken. Do not let your good be spoken of as evil. I want to talk from the subject today. Don't let differences divide. Don't let differences divide. Being an evangelist of the gospel for many years, I've always faced challenges on differences, whether it's different beliefs and things that people stand for in life. One of the things that have made me successful in my evangelistic walk on this earth is God has given the ability to see through differences, because God made all of us and he loves all of us, and what is unclean, as it says, to one may be clean to another. It depends on your outlook and your maturity in what you believe in. And so in those differences, one of the things that breaks the barriers or the roadblocks between me and other people that I try to turn in the direction of God for help is the love. Love is a neutral component because God is love, and love can break all divides and differences. You know, people see your life, and I said in a piece last week, your life has a voice. And whatever the message that your life is sending, hopefully it's sending love, it will pique the interest of other people who may think or be different than you are. But there's something about you and the love that you display, the unbiasedness and the lack of separation that you try to not have. I mean, not the lack of separation. You try to not separate yourself as being better than other people, and people notice that. People notice when you are real and you truly love, because other people know that they may not be on a level that we are on, and whatever level that may be, because they may be different. God made all of us different, but yet we come from the same God. And so I believe since we come from the same God and we all made in the image of God, I believe we should respect each other accordingly. And whatever pathway you take to get to God is your pathway. And the pathway I take is my pathway. But we all come from God, and let God be the judge of us all. So today I want to talk about don't let the differences divide. And as I read through my notes, I hope that I say something inspiring. I hope I say something that you may be going through with somebody, but you heard me this Thursday morning and you said, I'm going to make a difference. I'm not going to let the differences between me and the other person separate us. Maybe you can learn something from each other because you're different. And like I said before, the core of all of us come from God, good and bad. We are made in the image of God. We all are. So I believe that all of us have something to bring to the table, and it's my job to inspire you, to wake you up, to provoke you as evangelists of the gospel, to do what you need to do to bring your gifting, your talents, and whatever God gave you to the table. I'm not intimidated by anybody else's gift. I'm comfortable with who I am. I don't try to copycat anybody else. I'm comfortable with who I am and what I do and what I contribute and what I bring to the table. Because this is what God gave me, and that's what God gave you. Nobody can down or judge what you do for the Lord. Nobody's better than you. We're just different. Now, differences can make a difference in the lives, if they are channeled in the right direction. We all have something that we are good at, and something that we are bad at. But God is so wise that he gave different gifts to all his people. And so we complement each other instead of comparing ourselves to each other. Now hear me out. Different gifts to all his people so we can complement each other instead of comparing ourselves to each other. I want to stop there for a minute. Your gifting and my gifting is different. I don't want you to put our great God in such a small box in your mind to make yourself believe that your gift is the only right gift. God gives us all different gifts, but as I said in my notes, they are to complement each other instead of comparing ourselves against each other. I believe that being different opens up certain opportunities and doors that only your difference can accomplish. And the great thing about differences is we all have them, and we all can learn a lot from them. And so I make it my intention not to be jealous of anybody else's differences. No, no, no. I'm not going to be jealous of anybody else's differences. Because jealousy, hate, and envy, I believe, ruins our opportunities to learn something great from each other. A lot of people that demonstrate jealousy, hate, and envy towards each other, if you just would get that part, those parts out of the way, you will be surprised on what opportunities that you can have from learning, because God is not in a box. And so we can learn and start ruining these great opportunities to learn from each other. Now, embracing the characteristics about ourselves that are different can be difficult sometimes, because the world that we live in, the world gives us an image of who we need to be from our outside to our inside, and deviating from those standards can often cause us to feel isolated. See, the world puts a perception on us and tells us who we think we should be, who we need to be from the outside to the inside, and it deviates from the standards that can make us feel that the worldly standards. And when we deviate from the worldly standards, the world makes us feel isolated. Like you're not part of this group. You're different. We're all different, but we conform, as I say, to a norm that honestly doesn't come naturally to any of us. No one is born with the abilities to meet the world's expectation of normal. And so we spend our days conforming to a checklist, that's what I call, or explaining ourselves over and over in hopes that others will be able to make sense of our difference. Yeah, we find ourselves because we are trying to go down the checklist and conform ourselves to the world's checklist instead of God's checklist. And we find ourselves trying to make sense of our differences and explaining ourselves over and over again to people on why we the way we are. Not necessary. God made you the way he made you. He made me the way he made me. And if we explore each other's gifts and differences, we probably can learn and probably realize we're not too different, too much different from each other. If we take the time and stop and don't judge, the Bible said. So each of us have to give account to the Lord. He said, therefore, Paul said, therefore, let us not judge one another anymore. Period. Romans 14 and 13. Anymore, but rather resolve this, not putting a stumbling block or cause a fall in our brother's way. And those differences and changes that we have in ourselves that we try to impose on others and make them be the way we are can actually be a stumbling block to them as well as yourself, because you're creating a divide instead of coming together in love. But if we embrace what makes us different, let me say that. Here are some things that I can help you to understand if you want to fully embrace your differences. What makes us different? If we embrace that And I want to tell you some things that you can learn and you can benefit from being different than others. Because see, God is bigger than you. He's bigger than me. I want you to sip on that for a minute. Let me get my coffee. God is not in a box. He's bigger than you and me. And because you different and I'm different, that doesn't make God no less. It actually makes him greater. Because he cannot, as I said before, be put in a box. Of course, you're going to explain your perspective and your belief if we are communicating like that. And you're going to explain yours and I'm going to explain mine. I'm not here to tear down what you believe in. And I hope you're not here to tear down what I believe in, what I stand for. We're not politicians fighting in Congress. We're people. But one thing I know that we can come together on, and I hope it's part of your belief as well as mine, if it's different, if you're different, is love. And love is what's going to break. And respecting each other is going to break the enemy's back that he uses as he tries to use differences as a divide between all of us. The first thing I want to tell you is being different helps you make a difference. I'm truly a believer that being different helps you make a difference. Why? Because your differences, they stand out, and the world needs them. The world needs your differences. New ideas and perspectives and actions can impact the world, not just your environment. It can impact the world. And progress will never be made if you are not. Progress, I want to say this. I'm going to say this very slow because I want everybody to catch this. Progress will never be made if you are just like everyone else. Somebody got to talk to me on that one there. Progress will never be made if you are just like everyone else. The fact that we are different, we can progress together. Second thing I want to tell you, that relationships don't always require having things in common. Yeah, some people say, yeah, we need to have something. Yeah, some things in common. They don't always require relationships. Don't always require to have everything. Always have everything in common. Maybe you need a reminder that friendships require much more than having things in common. In fact, it is said that, the saying we say that opposites attract, and your differences can complement each other, and you don't have to worry about being in a competition. There's a saying that we say opposites attract, and that saying should just not be limited to just a intimate relationship. I think that saying should go a little further as far as you're opposite than me. And let's attract each other with what we know and empower each other for what we know, with what we know. And not try to be in competition with each other. We're all serving one God. And we all have to answer to one God. And so Paul was telling us over here, yet if your brother is grieved because of your food, you are no longer walking in love. And do not destroy with your food the one whom Christ died. Paul was telling us, listen, he's talking about food. But let's just talk about food for thought. Whatever you believe in is what you believe, and whatever the other person believes in is what they believe in. But you both can walk in love. Don't try to destroy somebody because your food ain't like their food. They might like liver and you might like chicken. They might eat pork and you might be a vegan. It doesn't make you no better than they are. Y'all are different. And you both still have something to bring to the table. Third thing I want to tell you, you can use your differences to teach other people. What you try to hide or cover up could be the very thing another person wants to learn. And instead of making excuses for your differences, explain and teach others about them. And this will help you connect with others and learn to love every part of yourself. Don't try to use your differences against people. Because if you're different, that's well, that's good. And whatever you stand for, if love is not included in what you stand for, don't expect to get no well with what you're doing. If love is not existing in what you're doing, then what you're doing is going to come to a dead end. Do love. Love will cause people to listen to you, even if they're different from you. Love will cause people to stop in their tracks and say, let me hear what you have to say. Because what you're demonstrating to me is love. And so whatever the difference is between me and you, I know that you have a foundation of love. And I might change some things about myself because my love might not be as strong as yours. So because we're different, we can come together, and I might ask you some questions about what do you do in this situation or that situation that helps you stay consistent like you are and loving people like you do. Even though I'm different from you, I might want to know that part of you and add that to my portfolio of myself. So it can be beneficial if you're not judgmental towards other people and what they believe and how they move in their life. A true Christian is a true Christian. A true believer is a true believer. And the Bible tells us that it is not God's desire that any man should perish. You need to remember that. It is not God's desire that a person should perish. When I say perish, I mean go to hell. That's not his desire. And so long as I'm living, ELS, Evangelist Langford Stephen III, I am always going to convince people that God is a better way. I was called to the earth for that purpose. Yes, I have a job, and yes, I have a family and a wife, and I try to, do the right thing, do what I need to do in life. But my ultimate calling is to bring people back to the Lord. And I'm happy with that. Even if we're different, I'm going to continue to try through the love that I demonstrate and through the words that I speak from God to encourage you that whoever you are, be happy with who you are. Don't down somebody else because they're different from you. Successful people, are different people. Individuals who are successful, they typically pave their way because their differences and willingness to take risks help them to be successful. Yes, you might be taking a risk by bringing your differences to the table with somebody else's differences. But guess what? You can be successful because you different and they different, and then we can come together and try to make something happen positive for the world together because we serve one God. Now, I want you to remember to stop hiding what makes you different and learn to embrace every part of who you are. I need to say that again. I need you to stop hiding. A lot of people hiding what makes them different because somebody maybe criticized them or talked about them or judged them. And so they hide that side of them instead of embracing every part of who they are. You need to embrace every part of who you are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I wake up in the morning on purpose, with a purpose, to be a blessing to somebody that day. I need you to hear me. I wake up every morning on purpose with purpose in my heart every day to be a blessing to someone else. What a mindset, what a disciplined mindset. I thank God for having that. I get up in the morning, I maybe go to social media and post some posts glorifying God, giving God's people the knowledge they need to get through the day or get through the week. I try to do prayer with people, prayer with purpose. I have a segment called Prayer with Purpose. I try to do straight talk with people where it's real in the field, where I'm just cut dry. We saying what it is. Try to come across the table and, of course, the damn inspiration with ELS. Whatever it takes, okay, to encourage somebody to follow their dreams, to trust God when you can't understand everything. Don't be ashamed of your differences. It is what makes you special. It is what makes me special. Be patient with people that's different. Who told you you was right anyway? We all got a Bible now, basic instructions before leaving earth, the Bible. That Bible that I read tells me to love my neighbor as I love myself, and I love me. And so I'm going to continue to love you. So I wanted this to just to run that past you and inspire you that being different ain't bad. Actually, it's good, because that means that God gave you something special to bring to the earth, to the world, that can make a difference in somebody's life. At the end of the day, after you didn't accomplish all your natural goals, y'all know what I'm talking about. The house, the big house, with the white picket fence, driveway full of cars, bank account about to explode. What else is it after that? Can buy anything you want to buy, do what you want to do. What else is it after that? Because that's not true happiness. True happiness is you being different and making a difference in somebody's life. To me, that's the fulfillment of life. Not how much money I have and how much I can show off and all of this other thing. What are you doing in your life different that's going to benefit? If you're opening a business, are you just thinking about the money that you're going to make in the business? Or are you thinking about the families that you're going to bless coming in your business, whether it's a restaurant or whatever you're into, and they eating food? Are you thinking about you giving out, free meals from time to time just to be a blessing to somebody homeless? What are you thinking about? Because you're different. I just thank God for all of you guys being different. And if we just have God in common, I'm good with that. Because he gave you what he gave you, and he gave me what he gave me. And I'm fighting every day to make sure I stay. I don't look at what's going on around me and what I'm dealing with. I don't let what's going on around me and what I'm dealing with stop me from getting up every morning faithfully, communing with God, and using what he has given me to make a difference in people's lives. Don't let differences divide. God bless you. This has been another segment, Inspirational with ELS. Until we speak again, please enjoy the rest of your day together. Take care.